Beloved soul, guidance does not always arrive loudly. Most often, it comes as a quiet assurance, a gentle sense of rightness that does not need to defend or explain itself. You are feeling that now, and your spirit knows this calm is not accidental. Trust that sensation, my child. It is the language of alignment, understood by the heart before the mind can find words for it. What feels steady inside you is speaking with more truth than fear ever could. Precious being, a new wisdom is forming within you. It did not appear overnight. It was shaped through hardship, patience, and the lessons you had to live through. This wisdom will help you move forward without repeating the cycles that once exhausted your spirit. You are not here to relive the same lessons again and again. You are here to apply what those lessons taught you. Chosen one, your growth is becoming guidance now. The unseen begins responding when clarity becomes stable within you. Confusion scatters energy, but certainty gathers it into one focused direction. Right now, your attention is quietly collecting power and arranging outcomes without strain. That is why remaining present matters more than trying to understand every detail. You do not need to control every part of the path to be guided through it. Presence keeps you connected to what heaven is showing you now. Beloved heart, the path ahead does not require perfection. It requires sincerity, honesty, and the willingness to move with a faithful heart. A true intention creates more alignment than flawless execution ever could. You are allowed to move forward without having every step mapped out. Gentle soul, not knowing everything does not mean you are unprepared. It means you are being invited to trust the unfolding. Learn to recognize the difference between delay and discernment. Delay tightens the chest and feeds fear, while discernment becomes still and studies what is in front of you. Follow the part of you that observes with peace instead of reacting with panic. That steadiness you feel is not coincidence. It is confirmation that something within you is becoming aligned. When your spirit feels calm, listen closely, because calm can be one of heaven's clearest answers. Precious being, the moment you are living in carries a signature meant only for you. No one else meets this timing in the exact way you do. Comparison will only weaken the meaning, but presence will reveal it. Chosen one, very soon there will come a moment when action feels natural instead of forced. You will not have to push yourself into it with fear. You will simply know, and that is when you will understand that this message has already done its work inside you. Movement will arise organically, guided by clarity rather than pressure. Beloved soul, allow trust to replace hesitation gradually. You do not need to leap. A step taken with awareness shifts more than a jump taken blindly. The next step will reveal itself at the correct moment. Gentle heart, what has been prepared for you aligns with who you have become, not who you used to be. That is why waiting was necessary. Growth had to finish its work before reward could arrive without distortion. Precious being, stay anchored in this awareness. The unfolding continues beyond these words, carrying you toward encounters, decisions, and confirmations that will feel familiar rather than surprising, as if you already knew they were coming. Chosen one, remain attentive. What approaches does not need chasing. It recognizes you the same way you recognize this moment. Sacred listen, stay settled within this awareness, because recognition has already occurred on levels unseen. When inner agreement forms, circumstances begin reorganizing without announcement. You may notice subtle shifts in conversations, timing, or opportunities presenting themselves differently than before. These adjustments are responses, not coincidences, and they reflect the inner position you now hold, tender spirit. Earlier chapters demanded survival instincts, quick reactions, constant vigilance. Those instincts protected you then, yet they cannot guide you forward now. A different quality is required, one rooted in trust rather than defense. That quality is awakening within you quietly, reshaping how you perceive choice, movement, and response. A steam soul, what once felt heavy, no longer carries the same authority. Memories lose their grip when lessons complete their task. The past is not vanish. It transforms into wisdom, and wisdom travels lighter than regret ever could. This transformation is occurring naturally, without force, because readiness has matured. Gentle bearer of intention, awareness sharpens discernment, and discernment refines direction. Each inside you, allow to settle, removes unnecessary effort. Life responds best to clarity, not struggle. When clarity stabilizes, support aligned seamlessly, moving pieces into place with minimal friction. Honored one, understand that forward movement does not always look dramatic. Sometimes progress arrives is calm certainty. A knowing that no longer debates itself. That knowing now lives within you. It does not require validation. It stands complete on its own. Precious presence. The unseen realm mirrors interstates faithfully. When confidence studies, assistance amplifies. When attention wavers, momentum slows. You are learning to hold attention deliberately, not out of fear, but out of respect for timing. Quiet strength is forming through this focus. It does not rush outcomes or demand signs. It allows unfolding. That allowance is powerful. It invites harmony rather than resistance, cooperation rather than conflict. Chosen bearer of awareness, this moment teaches stewardship. Whatever approach is next will reflect how well you hold presence now. Stewardship begins internally, true discipline of thought and steadiness of intention. You are demonstrating that discipline simply by remaining attentive, beloved traveler. Distractions often arrive when progress nears completion. Noise attempts to reclaim attention right before alignment solidifies. Recognizing this pattern protects momentum. You are not obligated to respond to every impulse. Selectivity strengthens direction. Esteemed inner alignment creates outer permission. When permission forms, pathways appear naturally. These pathways do not demand urgency. They invite participation. Accepting that invitation begins with trust in the unfolding rather than control over details. Gentle soul, timing synchronizes effortlessly when resistance dissolves. You have reached that dissolution. Now movement flows through cooperation rather than force. This change may feel unfamiliar, yet it is correct. Sacred listen, remain grounded as this awareness integrates. Integration stabilizes insight, preventing it from fading into memory without effect. Each breath anchors clarity deeper, preparing you for choices that soon present themselves naturally. Honored one, the unfolding ahead does not require constant vigilance. It requires receptivity. Staying receptive allows guidance to arrive gently, without tension or urgency. Tender presence, what recognizes you now, does so because resonance has formed. Resonance aligns intention with opportunity, purpose with timing. That alignment has been achieved, chosen bearer. Continue forward with calm attentiveness. What approaches carries familiarity rather than surprise, confirmation rather than confusion? You will know when the moment arrives, not through urgency, but through peace, beloved one. There have been countless times when you sensed movement behind the scenes, as if events were. You questioned whether that feeling was intuition or imagination. At this moment, that uncertainty dissolves. The subtle pull you noticed was preparation, and preparation always precedes manifestation. What stands before you now is the crossing point where inner readiness meets external response. Precious heart, you are not being asked to understand everything immediately. Understanding arrives in waves, not all at once. What matters now is willingness to stay receptive. Resistance blocks flow, but openness allows direction to emerge naturally. When you stop forcing answers, clarity finds you. Chosen one. The reason time feels different at this moment is because alignment compresses moments. What normally unfolds slowly accelerates when purpose engages. This acceleration can feel uncomfortable to those unprepared, yet for you, it arrives as recognition. You know this moment carries meaning, even if logic has not yet caught up. Beloved soul, recall how many times you felt delayed, as though progress paused without explanation. Those pauses were not punishment, they were shielding. Certain doors remained closed because opening them earlier would have cost you more than you realized. No conditions have shifted. Protection transforms into permission. Gentle one, there is strength growing quietly within you. Strength that does not announce itself loudly. It shows up as discernment, as patience, as the ability to pause before reacting. This strength has matured enough to carry what is approaching without being overwhelmed by it. Precious being, understand that divine timing does not repeat itself endlessly. Opportunity circle, but moments do not. When a window opens with this level of clarity, it signals readiness on both sides. Heaven responds when a heart can steward what arrives responsibly. Beloved one, fear attempts to disguise itself as caution, urging delay under the illusion of safety. Discern, however, feels calm even when decisive. Pay attention to what feels steady rather than urgent. That steadiness is guiding you now. Chosen soul, you have outgrown certain cycles without realizing it. Old patterns no longer fit. Old reactions no longer serve. And old limitations cannot hold you the way they once did. That is why restlessness surfaced recently. Growth always announces itself before change becomes visible. Precious heart, the unseen realm does not withdraw care lightly. Assistance steps back only when self-trust must be exercised. You are being invited into maturity, not abandonment. Support remains near, yet it honors your capacity to choose wisely. Beloved one, remaining attentive through this message is itself an act of alignment. Attention is agreement. Presence is participation. When you stay, you signal readiness without words. That signal has already been acknowledged. Gentle soul, there are connections forming, conversations aligning, circumstances adjusting quietly in response to your interstate. You do not need to chase them. Movement follows alignment, not effort alone. Your role now is awareness, not anxiety. Chosen one, notice how your breathing slows as these words continue. That calm is not accidental. Pizza accompanies truth. When guidance resonates, the body recognizes it before the mind explains it. Precious being, this moment carries the power to redefine directions suddenly yet permanently, not through force, but through choice, not through urgency, but through clarity. You are not late, you are precisely on time. Beloved soul, allow this awareness to anchor itself deeply. What comes next will unfold more smoothly because you stayed, listened, and trusted what you felt, rather than what distracted you. Gentle one, remain here a little longer. The unfolding has only begun, and what follows is meant to strengthen your confidence, steady your heart, and prepare you to step forward without hesitation when the next sign appears. Beloved presence, continue receiving this gently. Play because the space you are standing in now is delicate yet powerful. When awareness expands, reality adjusts, surrounded. And that adjustment is already underway. You may not see movement with your eyes yet, but perception has shifted, and perception always leads play events. What feels subtle now will soon feel obvious, but only if you remain steady instead of slipping back into old habits of doubt. Precious, there was a season when you survived by endurance alone, holding yourself together through resolve rather than peace. That season shaped you, but it was never meant to define you permanently. This moment marks a quiet transition where effort gives way to flow. You are no longer pushing against resistance. Resistance is dissolving because alignment has taken its place. Chosen heart, the way you once carried internally, was never meant to travel with you into the next phase. It served its purpose as a teacher, not as a companion. That is why it has begun to loosen its grip. Release is not lost. It is preparation for something lighter yet stronger. Gentle one, timing response to readiness, not desire. You desire change long before you were prepared to hold its responsibility. Now maturity has caught up with longing. That meeting point creates momentum, and momentum must be recognized to be guided correctly. Beloved soul, guidance rarely shouts. It whispers through calm assurance, through a sense of rightness that does not require explanation. You are feeling that now. Trust that sensation. It is the language of alignment, understood by the heart before the mind translates it. Precious being, there is wisdom forming within you that did not exist before hardship shaped you. This wisdom allows you to move forward without repeating cycles that once drained you. You are not here to relive lessons. You are here to apply them, chosen one. The unseen response when clarity stabilizes. Confusion scatters energy, but certainty gathers it. Your attention right now is gathering power quietly, arranging outcomes without strain. That is why remaining present matters more than understanding every detail. The love at heart. The path ahead does not require perfection. It requires sincerity. Honest intention creates more alignment than flawless execution ever could. You are allowed to move forward without having everything mapped out, gentle soul. Recognize how the urge to delay feels different from discernment. One tightens the chest, the other studies. Follow what studies you. That steadiness is not coincidence. It is confirmation. Honored presence, momentum gathers when intention aligns with integrity. Integrity does not announce itself loudly. It simply holds. Holding creates continuity. Circumstances fluctuate. Through this holding, confidence becomes durable, not dependent on external reassurance. Quiet navigator. The path ahead reveals itself incrementally, matching your capacity. Moment by revelation pace correctly prevents overwhelm and preserves clarity. Each realization arrives precisely when it can be applied, transforming insight into action without delay or confusion. Attuned, remain receptive as this settling completes. Completion does not close possibility. It opens participation. Participation invites collaboration between intention and circumstance, allowing outcomes to meet. When that meeting occurs, recognition will be immediate, gentle, and certain, confirming that presence has done its work. Anchored awareness, remain present as this depth stabilizes further, because stabilization transforms insight into orientation. Orientation guides movement instinctively, without calculation, without hesitation. From this place, direction is felt rather than debated, and decisions emerge as natural responses instead of forced conclusions. What once required reassurance now stands independently. Composed presence, sensitivity has refined into discernment, and discernment sharpens alignment. Alignment simplifies complexity. When complexity dissolves, energy stops leaking into unnecessary resistance. Conservation strengthens influence, allowing subtle intention to produce tangible effect. This quiet efficiency marks readiness for sustained progress, observant consciousness. Notice how attention now rests comfortably instead of searching. Searching implies absence. Resting confirmed sufficiency. Sufficiency creates confidence without arrogance, humility without hesitation. This balance carries authority that does not need to announce itself. Study Navigator. Internal coherence invites external cooperation. Cooperation rearranges conditions effortlessly, aligning resources, timing, and opportunity without strain. You will recognize cooperation through ease, through continuity, through the absence of friction where friction once dominated. Matune. Trust the unfolding without attempting to accelerate. Acceleration disrupts rhythm. Rhythm sustains flow. Flow carries momentum naturally. Play, ensuring each step arrives with clarity intact. Remaining attuned preserves harmony between action and awareness. Center being. Awareness has matured beyond reaction into choice. Choice empowers agency without pressure. Agency directs outcomes responsibly, ensuring growth integrates smoothly rather than abruptly. This integration strengthens resilience, preparing you to navigate variation without destabilization. Calm observer. Allow this orientation to anchor deeply. Anchoring prevents regression into doubt or overanalysis. From an anchored position, guidance remains accessible even amid complexity. Accessibility ensures responsiveness without overwhelm. Poised presence. The unfolding ahead will mirror the steadiness, presenting options that feel aligned rather than confusing. Alignment confirms itself quietly. Through resonance rather than persuasion, resonance guides movement accurately, sustaining clarity across transitions. Grounded consciousness. Remain receptive as momentum continues building beneath the surface. Surface cam often precedes visible. That shift will arrive organically, matching readiness precisely. Recognition will be immediate, confirming that attention has fulfilled its purpose. Assured soul, continue forward with composed attentiveness. What meets you next carries continuity rather than disruption, coherence rather than surprise. When engagement becomes necessary, action will arise naturally, supported by clarity that no longer wavers. Resolved awareness. Stay gently alert as this calm deepens into certainty. Because certainty does not rush or announce itself, it settles, it stabilizes. It becomes part of how you move through moments. From here, hesitation loosens its hold, replaced by a quiet confidence that does not need. This confidence is earned, shaped by endurance, refined by insight, and now ready to guide you forward without resistance. Attentive presence. Something important is forming beneath the surface of ordinary time. Ordinary routines may continue. Your perception has shifted, allowing you to sense significance where others noticed nothing unusual. This sensitivity is not weakness, it is attunement. Attunement allows you to respond before circumstances demand reaction, preserving balance for chaos once threatened. Centered spirit. The clarity arriving now brings discernment between what deserves energy and what no longer does. Discernment protects momentum. Momentum sustains progress. Through this protection, your path becomes lighter, not because challenges disappear, Not because you are forcing anything, my child, but because unnecessary burdens are beginning to fall away on their own. Poised consciousness, notice how your inner dialogue has softened. Where arguments once echoed inside you, there is now space, and that space is becoming sacred. Space allows truth to rise without distortion. In that quiet opening, guidance becomes easier to recognize, not as a command, but as understanding. You are learning to know guidance by the peace it carries when it lands inside your spirit. Steady heart, trust the subtle confirmations appearing around you. Confirmation does not always arrive with drama, noise, or sudden spectacle. More often, it comes through consistency, through alignment repeating itself gently until recognition settles fully within you. These repetitions are not coincidence. They are reinforcement, helping your spirit become stable before movement increases. Grounded listener, the next phase does not require you to abandon caution. It only asks you to refine it. Refined caution knows the difference between wisdom and fear. Wisdom expands possibilities, while fear closes them before they can breathe. You are now moving under wisdom, guided by awareness rather than avoidance. Balanced soul. Internal harmony invites external cooperation. When your inner world becomes steadier, the world around you begins responding differently. Obstacles may quietly dissolve before you even realize how close they once were. This preemptive easing is the result of alignment holding steady long enough to influence outcomes without force. Composed traveler, you no longer need to fight every door open. Some doors will begin opening because your spirit is finally in agreement with the path ahead. When action becomes necessary, it will feel proportional. It will not overwhelm you, and it will not feel meaningless. Proportion is one of the signs that the timing is correct. Correct action maintains momentum without exhaustion. You will know when to move because movement will feel natural, not urgent. It will rise from clarity, not panic. Esteemed soul, inner alignment creates outer permission. When permission forms within you, pathways begin appearing naturally around you. What once felt blocked will begin to feel available, because your spirit is no longer standing against its own becoming. These pathways do not demand urgency, they invite participation. Accepting that invitation begins with trust in the unfolding rather than control over details. Gentle soul, timing synchronizes effortlessly when resistance dissolves. You have reached that dissolution. Now movement flows through cooperation rather than force. This change may feel unfamiliar, yet it is correct. Sacred listen. Remain grounded as this awareness integrates. Integration stabilizes insight, preventing it from fading into memory without effect. Each breath anchors clarity deeper, preparing you for choices that soon present themselves naturally. Honored one, the unfolding ahead does not require constant vigilance. It requires receptivity. Staying receptive allows guidance to arrive gently, without tension or urgency. Tender presence, what recognizes you now, does so because resonance has formed. Resonance aligns intention with opportunity, purpose with timing. That alignment has been achieved, chosen bearer. Continue forward with calm attentiveness. What approaches carries familiarity rather than surprise, confirmation rather than confusion. You will know when the moment arrives, not through urgency, but through peace. Awakened one, remain within the stillness as it deepens, because something subtle, yet decisive, is stabilizing inside you. When certainty settles without noise, it becomes unshakable. This steadiness allows reality to respond without resistance, shaping outcomes that no longer require constant correction. What once demanded effort now arranges itself with ease. Precious consciousness, awareness, has expanded beyond reaction into observation. Observation grants freedom. From this vantage, choices appear clear, motives reveal themselves honestly, and directional lines without internal conflict. You are no longer negotiating with confusion, you are listening to coherence, gentle bearer of insight. There is a rhythm forming between intention and response. That rhythm did not exist before because attention was scattered. Now focus has gathered, and gathering always amplifies influence. Influence does not force results, it attracts them. Esteem soul. Moments like this rarely announce completion. They simply conclude quietly, leaving behind a sense of readiness rather than excitement. That readiness signals maturity. Maturity carries stability, and stability sustains whatever arrives next. Sacred presents. The mind often seeks confirmation through repetition, yet truth settles once. When it settles, it does not argue. It simply remains. Notice how these words are not pushing you, but aligning with something already forming. That alignment confirms direction without demand. Tender spirit. Patience has refined perception. You no longer mistake delay for denial or silence for absence. Understanding has replaced assumption. Misunderstanding now guides you more accurately than urgency ever could, honored traveler. Internal alignment influences external timing. When timing synchronizes, encounters feel timely rather than accidental. Conversations arrive when needed. Opportunities present themselves when readiness exists. This synchronization has begun responding to your inner steadiness. Quiet strength continues integrating, smoothing edges that once resisted flow. This strength does not dominate or demand. It cooperates. Cooperation allows harmony to replace friction, allowing progress to feel natural rather than strained. Chosen one, what unfolds next will not overwhelm you because capacity has increased gradually. Expansion without preparation overwhelms. Expansion with preparation empowers. You have been prepared, beloved awareness. Trust your ability to navigate upcoming movement calmly. Calm navigation preserves clarity even when circumstances shift. That clarity ensures decisions remain aligned with purpose rather than reaction. Gentle consciousness. This unfolding carries no need for haste. Presence keeps pace perfectly. When presence remains steady, guidance arrives without confusion. You will recognize it through ease rather than pressure. Esteem soul. Allow this integration to complete its work. Completion does not end growth. It stabilizes foundation. From a stable foundation, direction emerges confidently. Sacred listen. Continue forward, anchored in awareness. What aligns with you recognizes you clearly now. When the next step presents itself, you will move without hesitation, guided by certainty rather than doubt. Steadfast soul, allow this awareness to breathe fully within you, because integration happens when attention rests rather than strains. Rest does not mean stopping, it means trusting the current that already carries you forward. In this space, inside matures into wisdom, and wisdom moves quietly, choosing precision over display. What settles now becomes reliable guidance later, steady enough to support decisions without second guessing. Gentle witness, notice how perception widens when urgency dissolves. Without pressure, truth presents itself plainly, unadorned, unmistakable. You begin to sense what aligns without convincing yourself, and that sensing directs movement more accurately than calculation ever could. This is the language of inner authority, learned through experience rather than instruction. Honored presence, Momentum gathers when intention aligns with integrity. Integrity does not announce itself loudly. It simply holds. Holding creates continuity, and continuity carries progress forward even when circumstances. Through this holding, confidence becomes durable, not dependent on external reassurance. Quiet navigator. The path ahead reveals itself incrementally, matching your capacity moment by moment. Revelation paced correctly prevents overwhelm and preserves clarity. Each realization arrives precisely when it can be applied, transforming insight into action without delay or confusion. Attuned heart, remain receptive as this settling completes. Completion does not close possibility. It opens participation. Participation invites collaboration between intention and circumstance, allowing outcomes to meet you naturally. When that meeting occurs, recognition will be immediate, gentle, and certain, confirming that presence has done its work. Attentive consciousness. Recognize how your relationship with time has softened. Waiting no longer feels empty, and movement no longer feels rushed. This balance allows timing to cooperate with you instead of opposing you. Cooperation transforms effort into flow, ensuring that progress feels supported rather than forced. Balanced presence. There is a quiet confidence growing that does not rely on outcomes to validate itself. This confidence arises from self-trust, armed through moments when you chose awareness over impulse. That trust now guides your attention toward what sustains rather than what distracts. Poised soul. Subtle shifts continue unfolding. Beyond immediate perception, these shifts are aligning pathways, synchronizing interactions, adjusting circumstances to reflect your inner steadiness. Adjustment happens invisibly first, then visibly. Remaining patient allows alignment to complete without interference. Centered observer, clarity refines priorities naturally. What once seemed urgent loses its pull. What truly matters gains definition. This refinement conserves energy, allowing you to invest attention where it yields lasting benefit instead of temporary relief. Composed navigator. Adaptability remains available without compromising direction. You are learning how to respond without losing center, how to engage without being consumed. This skill ensures resilience, allowing movement through change while preserving coherence. Rooted consciousness. The unfolding ahead values continuity over intensity. Intensity burns quickly, continuity sustains. Choosing continuity ensures growth integrates fully, preventing collapse after expansion. This choice reflects maturity, assured presence. Trust that the next invitations will arrive aligned with your capacity. Capacity expands gradually, protecting balance. When opportunity meets preparedness, engagement feels natural rather than overwhelming. Steady awareness. Maintain receptivity without expectation. Expectation narrows perception. Receptivity widens. Widened perception allows guidance to arrive in varied forms, ensuring understanding remains flexible and accurate. Integrated soul. As this phase completes, readiness replaces anticipation. Readiness allows participation without hesitation. Participation invites cooperation between intention and circumstance, enabling outcomes to unfold smoothly. Calm witness. Continue forward, grounded in this awareness. What approaches carries coherence rather than confusion, familiarity rather than shock. Recognition will arise quietly, affirming that presence, patience, and trust have aligned effectively. Enduring being, remain attentive. The unfolding continues beyond these words, shaping encounters and decisions with precision that flex your steadiness. When movement becomes necessary, It will feel aligned, supported, and unmistakably clear. Anchored consciousness. Allow this composure to extend further into your daily rhythm, because when inner balance becomes habitual, life responds with consistency rather than contrast. Stability changes how events meet you. Situations that once felt destabilizing now passed through without disturbance, leaving inside instead of residue. This is growth made visible through calm, aware presence. Your sensitivity has evolved into precision. Precision chooses wisely, without hesitation, recognizing what aligns and what does not without internal debate. This discernment protects your path quietly, steering you away from misalignment without dramatic correction. Subtle redirection often carries the greatest protection. Centered soul. The space you now occupy internally allows truth to approach without resistance. Resistance creates distortion. Open invites clarity. From clarity arises confidence that does not need reinforcements. You are learning to trust what settles naturally rather than what demands urgency. Steady observer. Patterns reveal themselves more clearly when attention remains neutral. Neutrality does not mean indifference. It means seeing without projection. Seeing without projection grants freedom, allowing you to respond intentionally instead of reflexively. This freedom marks a turning point in how you engage with what comes next. Compose navigator. Alignment is no longer something you seek. It is something you maintain. Maintenance requires presence, not effort. Presence sustains harmony, preventing drift back into confusion. This maintenance ensures continuity even when circumstances fluctuate. Rooted awareness. There is a quiet assurance forming that does not depend on reassurance. This assurance allows you to move forward without constantly checking for validation. Self-trust replaces uncertainty, guiding decisions with steadiness rather than speculation. Attuned being, you may notice how external noise holds less influence now. Distractions lose their pull when clarity anchors attention. This anchoring concerts energy, directing focus toward what nourishes rather than what depletes. Conservation strengthens endurance. Balanced consciousness. The unfolding ahead will not overwhelm because discernment remains active. Discernment filters options, allowing you to engage selectively. Selective engagement preserves momentum, preventing overextension while supporting progress. Calm presence. Readiness has matured into quiet preparedness. Preparedness does not rush outcomes. It meets them calmly when they arrive. Viscum reception ensures integration happens smoothly without shock or resistance. Grounded soul. Remain attentive as alignment continues shaping your environment. Shaping occurs subtly, adjusting timing interactions, an opportunity to reflect your inner steadiness. These adjustments confirm coherence without spectacle, integrated awareness. Continue moving with composure. What aligns with you will recognize this stability and respond accordingly. When participation becomes necessary, action will arise organically, supported by clarity that remains intact through transition. Enduring presence. Trust the unfolding. Trust does not require certainty about every detail. It requires confidence in your ability to respond wisely. That ability has been cultivated. It will guide you accurately when the moment calls. Steady heart. Trust the subtle confirmations appearing around you. Confirmation rarely arrives dramatically. More often it appears as consistency, as alignment repeating itself gently until recognition settles fully. These repetitions are not coincidence. They are reinforcement, ensuring stability before movement increases. Grounded listener. The next phase does not require abandoning caution, only refining it. Refined caution distinguishes wisdom from fear. Wisdom expands possibilities. Fear restricts them. You are moving under wisdom now, guided by awareness rather than avoidance. Balanced soul. Internal harmony invites external cooperation. Cooperation removes obstacles quietly, sometimes before they become visible. This preemptive easing is the result of alignment holding steady long enough to influence outcome without. Composed traveler. When action becomes necessary, it will feel proportional, neither overwhelming nor insignificant. Proportion signals correctness. Correctness maintains momentum without exhaustion. You will know when to move because movement will feel natural, not urgent. Integrated presence. Allow this state to anchor completely. Anchoring ensures continuity, preventing regression into uncertainty when conditions fluctuate. From continuity arises trust, and from trust arises sustained clarity. Assured being, continue forward with this settled awareness. What unfolds next will meet you at the exact pace required, not delayed and not rushed. When the moment of engagement arrives, it will feel less like surprise and more like recognition, confirming that preparation has already completed its quiet work within you. Enduring presence. Allow the calm you are holding to stretch further into certainty. Certainty does not widen suddenly, it grows gently, strengthening your footing without demanding proof. It creates a quiet readiness that remains steady even when the circumstances around you continue to shift. From this steadiness, your perception becomes accurate instead of reactive. You will begin recognizing alignment the moment it appears, not because it is loud, but because it feels clear. Your spirit is learning how to see without panic and choose without pressure. Mindful consciousness. Something subtle is ending, while something meaningful is preparing to begin. Endings do not always arrive as loss, grief, or disruption. Sometimes they arrive as relief, as the quiet realization that a chapter no longer needs your vigilance. This release creates space for engagement that feels purposeful instead of draining. What once required constant effort may now begin to fall away naturally. You completed their lesson. You are no longer being asked to protect yourself from the same patterns that have already completed their lesson. Attuned awareness. Your internal compass has recalibrated. Your values feel clearer, your boundaries feel more natural, and your direction feels more coherent. This recalibration helps prevent missteps without closing you off from exploration. You are learning to move in a way that honors both curiosity and wisdom. You can remain open without becoming careless, and you can stay discerning without becoming fearful. This balance is part of the maturity now rising within you. Poised observer, remain receptive to the gentle confirmations weaving through your days. They may appear as timing that aligns unexpectedly, conversations that answer unspoken questions, or opportunities that arrive without strain. These moments are quiet signs that life is beginning to cooperate with your inner alignment. Ease is not laziness. Ease is alignment, expressing itself efficiently. Balanced spirit. Your resilience has matured, replacing urgency with calm confidence and teaching you that what is meant for you does not need to be forced.